Talks Tools. I'm Tom. So this is the 50th episode of Meatloaf. So not too long until we got a whole year's worth of those. Might have missed one in there somewhere, but anyway, that's a good marker. Coming up on a year of Meatloaf, which is kind of a milestone, and I just want to thank all you guys out there for all the support and comments that you guys throw up there and questions, and it's been fun for me, so I'll keep doing it if it's fun for you. So this particular one, we got a little viewer appreciation piece of mail, and then we're going to talk about one we got last week. There's a little update on that. Let's see. We've got an interesting box that I'm going to show you guys. We were talking about Bakelite last week with the Pratt & Whitney level. The thermal isolators on it are made out of Bakelite. Anyway, I have a Bakelite box that I'm going to show you, which is pretty cool. I got a little repair job for my neighbor, the French antique guy. He's got a little thing that needs fixing, so we'll take a look at that. So we'll actually do some work in this one, and let's see what else we can throw in there. So let's go over to the table and let's have a look at some stuff, and then get cracking on this repair. Okay, so what we got here, we got a couple of projects sitting on the table here. I just wanted to share these with you real quick because these are coming up in the videos. We're just, this is just kind of highlights for upcoming stuff. This is a setup to test the wobble gear reducer for the etching press. So we're going to turn this shaft down and we're going to set up the gear reducer on this and put the hand wheel on it, and we're actually going to test it. So I bought a couple of bearings from Bailey Hydraulic, and I scored a piece of shaft. So we'll turn that down and mount that gear reducer, and then we'll be able to see that 18-to-1 gear reduction right through this shaft here. So there's that. And then I had to get a new plate burned for the anti-rotation arm for the wobble. So at the same time, I went ahead and ordered some plate for a stand for this Famco arbor press. So we're going to put this together. This is the plate that the press actually mounts to. That's the base plate. These are vertical supports. That's a center gusset. This gets a couple of tap tools. There's a few things here. So, and then some welding assembly here. And then this will get, I'll either spray can it or I'll probably send it out for powder coat just because I got some powder coat coming up, and might as well, right? So anyway, that's coming up, and you guys will get to partake in that. And oh yeah, and then there's this guy here. This is the new the platen for the arbor press. It had this little wimpy thin one on it before, so we're going to do a little detail work on this, and we got to put a pin in here for a pivot. So that's an 1.5-inch plate there. Look at that finish on there. So that's right off of the torch. So pretty nice. So anyway, that whole thing's coming up pretty soon. So stay tuned, guys. All right. So here I mentioned that I had to get a new anti-rotation plate cut, and that's what it looks like now. I went ahead and gussied it up a little bit. So I was playing around on the computer. I was looking at this profile here, and I decided to match it with the gear. That way it looks like it's part of the gear. Anyway, that'll get mounted down with some smaller stainless button heads here to kind of mimic, or to kind of follow the motif here. Went ahead and ordered some metric button heads for that, so that kind of follows that a little bit. These are just small details that kind of add to the whole. And then, we're gonna. These will be separate videos. This is more just to kind of whet your appetite, kind of appetizers. Then here, there's a wear plate here, and that's what this is about here. This is some bronze plate here, and there'll be some wear plates on this that are raised, so that'll kind of accentuate that tip on that a little bit, and those will be mounted with some screws there too. So you'll have, this piece will be painted, then you'll have bronze here with some screws here, and then all that's mounted to this. Anyway, that's coming up, and stay tuned. Okay, so we're going to take another look at this thing. We looked at this last week, and this came from Gordon Melby, and he is MCAD Associates, and he said, hey, it's missing the legs, the little tripod legs that go with this. Well, a couple of viewers chimed in and said, hey, look inside the tube. And sure as weasel snot, there's some legs in there. And it's also got this frightening looking attachment here. I think that's the cranial head mount there. If you want to mount your camera and not use a head strap, you can use that. But let's go ahead and put the legs on real quick. So the guy that correctly pointed this out, actually there's a couple guys. His handle is Waffle, or WAF3L, Waffle, or I don't know, whatever. It's some weird handle. Anyway, thanks for pointing that out. Then a couple other guys chimed in too. A longtime viewer, Sean Hawkins, and then another person, I don't quite remember who, said take a look in the tube. So now it gets more exciting here. This is actually a little tripod now, and with a ball head, and that I can also clamp on something too. So this is kind of now a very interesting camera mount. So Gordon, thanks again for a second time. This is going to be we're going to try that out, and now I don't have to make legs for it. So anyway, thanks Waffle for pointing that out. Okay, so this one here is kind of interesting. This comes to us from Ben Devanza, and he's out of Dallas, Texas, and he sent me a little note here. He thought I'd get a kick out of this. This is it's a printing plate, a copper printing plate that has a Plumb 10-inch crescent wrench, or adjustable wrench, or shifting spanner if you guys are from Oz or down in New Zealand. That's what my old Kiwi mentors used to call them, shifting spanners. Anyway, it's all backwards as you can see, but this is an etched copper printing plate here. I tried it out, but I think you need to use normal ink. I just kind of colored it with Sharpie and tried printing it, and it sort of worked, but maybe what we'll do is, so now my wife is she's an expert printer, so she can put the ink on here and get it on there in the right manner, and then maybe we'll run it through the small etching press and see if we can get a little print out of it. That might be kind of fun. But Ben, thank you very much. That's pretty cool. I see these at the flea market off and on. Not this specifically, but letterpress or etched plates like this of different things. So some people collect them. There's all different flavors of these things. Just like the printed word, there's millions and millions of them. Anyway, Ben, thank you very much. That's cool. We'll see if we can get a print off of that. Okay, so this next thing I want to show you, we were talking about Bakelite a little bit last week, and this is what I wanted to show you here. Now this is a box that I bought off eBay actually quite a few years ago now, and so I'll tell you a little bit about it. So first off, let's look at the name here, Hilger Watts. This is an English company that made very, very fine surveying and metrology instruments. And I don't know if they still exist. They were bought by Taylor Hobson back in the 60s, I think, and kind of acquired and merged. So you still see a lot of this stuff on eBay, theodolites and autocollimators, and all kinds of different strange instruments. And now this box here, this box is made of Bakelite, and it has these aluminum corner pieces, and that's what we're going to talk about, is these aluminum corner pieces here. They're actually spectacular. You know, you look at this and you go, okay, so it's a box, big deal, right? Well, what was in this box was an optical polygon, okay? And basically this is a reflective mirror with a bunch of different facets on it at very, very accurate angles to one another. So these were used to measure angles and machinery ways, and there's all kinds of stuff you can do with autocollimation. So so this housed an optical polygon, okay? Let's open it up. It's got a cool little latch here. Now, there's no optical polygon in here anymore, and what's funny is you open this up and you can smell that Bakelite, that smell. Now, what I wanted to show you guys though, what I think is pretty spectacular, is these little corner pieces here, these innocent little corner pieces here. We look at those and we go, okay, what's the big deal, right? Well, they're dovetail. They're single dovetail, not double dovetail, single dovetail. So these Bakelite pieces are dovetailed into these aluminum corner pieces here. And so now you go, okay, yeah, well, so what, right? And but think about it. How do they do that, right? How do they do that single dovetail, right? So it's actually non-trivial, right? Well, in today's times, it's kind of non-trivial, right? How would you do that? Well, you'd kind of broach it or do something, you know, or wire EDM that or some crazy stuff, right? Well, this was probably produced on a shaper, okay, with a very small little tool, an angle tool that came in and did that side or whatever, and that's how I believe these are done. Now, I haven't taken it apart to see if there's the characteristic linear marks in it. And I'm not going to either, so don't get your don't get your hopes up. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out, that here's this innocent little box, right? And some, you know, little tool maker guy, you know, over at Hilger Watts, you know, made these boxes, or maybe they made this aluminum corner in little sections, or that was a job for the apprentices. I don't know. There's a whole story there, I'm sure, right? And anyway, so here's this box. So now you can still buy these polygons on eBay, and they're pretty expensive. So they're thousands of dollars, and depending on the make and the number of faces and all that, they can be upwards of $30,000 today even. So so this housed a very special thing. Anyway, I bought it just because it was a curiosity, and it was a very cool little box. I didn't know what I was going to use it for, but I mean, come on. You saw that at the flea market or something for a few dollars, and I didn't pay much for it, $10 or something. You'd buy that. Come on, admit it, you'd buy that. So anyway, a little bit of history there. Look these guys up on the web, on eBay. You can see some of the instruments that they've made over the years. Pretty neat stuff. So check it out. Okay, so we kind of skipped a mystery tool last week, so let's jump in here and let's do another mystery tool. And so your guess is as good as mine on this one, guys. I'm not sure what this is. Now, if I had to guess, it looks like it's something that you grab and then you can actually tension or pull on something. This looks like a fulcrum to me. It does have a name on it here. Let's see. Godico or Odico S, something like that. Let's turn that over so you guys can look at that there. I don't know if this helps or hurts there. Anyway, it's got a little number on it. It sort of looks homemade, but then it doesn't. So not quite sure what this is for. Little tag on it there. Anyway, if you know what that is, let me know. That's kind of an interesting tool. Maybe it's some kind of upholsterer's tool or something like that. And I don't know, but what's the fulcrum for? So, so it looks like you can clamp something or squeeze something like that, right? It grabs that pretty good, but now what? You know, I don't know. So anyway, this week's mystery tool, the weird grabber clamp thingamajig. Okay. Okay. So here's. I'll bring this over here. This is this little repair job that we're gonna do here, and what this is a it holds the pan on a balance, a scale. And of course it's an Antiqua, it's an antique, so it's special and precious and all that stuff. Well, the little hook here, the little hook that connects it to the beam, or the pivoting beam, decided to let go. Now, I'm not sure. This seems like an awfully small part to be cast, and it is magnetic. So, and then I guess it sort of makes sense that they bend the rod and then they attach it to that. So now with all these little repairs that I do, I'm always a little bit cautious about removing, you know, some of this. I mean, obviously, in this area, I have to clean it real well so I can get a little weld on there, right, or a braze or whatever we're going to do there. But how far back I go into this area is always, you know, kind of a judgment call. You know, some of this ooky-looking stuff here is part of the provenance or whatever, or the, you know, what makes it desirable is the look of the thing, right? So we don't want to disturb that if we don't have to. So we'll do a little cleaning on that. Now this is a small enough cross section here that I don't think I'm going to do any weld prep, because we're going to weld it all the way around. And I want whatever crack is left there for registration to kind of put it back. Yeah, and you see, you know, it's hanging, you know, right in this area there. So we're right on that. Is there a little mark in there? Anyway, we'll wire brush that a little bit, and then we'll get a little weld on that and see if we can help this thing along. Okay, so this is this little piece off of the scale. Now, this is just waiting to eat you alive here with a small piece like this. So this is a good use of this this little hand vise here that I keep over near the here, and you know, just gets my hands out of the action area here. And I'm always very leery of wire brushes. They just, especially ones that are going really fast, they just misbehave. This is fairly stiff wire here, so you know, something goes south on you, it happens really, really quick. That actually looks pretty good there. You know, I've never liked this blue paint on this thing. Anyway. That's better. That looks better. Yeah, you know, some guys are into painting their tools, but to me it's just this covers up their age marks, you know. Alright, enough of that. Alright, we're ready to go. Alright, so we get our little setup here. So I want to clamp this down just so it doesn't move around on me while I'm working on it. Also, I want to clamp. I've got the table grounded, but I'm going to add my little precision ground here for even more direct connection. You know, little parts are sensitive to grounding issues, and I'm going to put this under here like that to kind of level that up. Now the trick is, where was that thing when it was whole, right? So I get a good little line up there. So I'm kind of looking at this bit in here to see when it looks circular to me. Okay, and I'll use the little welding duck here. Just kind of hold that down. And we're going to use Everdur silicon bronze here to create that joint. It's kind of funny because there's some little marks on here. I'm wondering if somebody else tried to fix that previous. I don't know, but we're going to give it a go. We're going to TIG weld here and pretty low amperage. I don't know. Maybe we'll be able to see. So I'm going to zoom in on this and then weld it up and see how it goes. Okay, so there's our little joint there. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see here. Behaved itself okay. Let it cool off a little. And we'll flip it over and come from the other side and do the same thing. Feels pretty good right now. Alright, so I flipped it over. This side's up a little bit, so I'm going to put that under there kind of as a little bit of a heat sink, among other things. Let's see if we can get it looks like it came through nicely, but I just want to fuse it in on this side too, so. That's about it. That's pretty good. All right, I'm calling it done. I think I'm going to leave this weld reinforcement on there since when this was originally made, I don't know, it might have been repaired before because it's skinnier in this area than it is here and in here, so maybe it broke before and somebody else fixed it. I don't know, but I'm going to leave that weld reinforcement on there. It just adds a little more strength to it. Okay, we're done. So I know some guys are going to ask about this, but I have two grounds on this machine. I got the big Magumba one here, okay, with, I don't know, what is that? Frickin' number, this is 3/0 or something like that. So this is good for several hundred amps, probably the limit of the machine here, which is 375 amps. So that could take the big current. Now for really light jobs, a lot of times I like this small, I call it a precision ground. And it's just kind of shunted in with the ground here. There's a copper plate behind here and this is tapped into that and it comes out here. So sometimes I use them in concert with one another for delicate work or stuff that's sensitive to ground. And then when I'm not using it, so it doesn't do something crazy, I just put it inside this piece of pipe, this plastic pipe to, you know, keep it from touching the machine or doing anything obnoxious or Mr. Bozo-like. Anyway, so I know the guys are curious about that kind of stuff, so I just show that. Anyway.